What's up, Niners faithful? The countdown is on, and here we are just a couple of days away from one of the most important clashes of the season. San Francisco is about to line up against the Rams, and the timing could not be more intense. Think about it. Going into the year, most people looked at the schedule and circled that matchup with the Rams as a defining moment. Not just because of the rivalry, but because of what it means in the bigger picture of the NFC West. A lot of folks before the season were already writing this team off as nothing more than a wild card contender, not even giving them a serious shot at winning the division. That was the narrative floating around. And then, of course, the Niners came out swinging, stacking up 3 straight wins right off the bat, including one of the toughest road games you can play every season against the Seahawks. That win was a statement in itself. And then you get the Cardinals, a team that for some reason has been a thorn in the side of San Francisco way too often in recent years. The Niners historically make too many mistakes against them, and those errors come back to bite. Add last year's Rams game into the mix, a matchup that felt like it was ours to win, and yet somehow it slipped away. That kind of thing has been a recurring theme. Games where San Francisco earns the right to dominate, but keeps leaving the door open. And that's where Sunday's game left us scratching our heads again. So now the question becomes, what is the biggest change this team needs to make heading into Thursday? Because let's be honest, a lot went wrong last game. You can point fingers all over the place. Special teams? Yeah, they deserve a heavy portion of the blame. That was a performance that should have every guy in that unit taking personal responsibility. When you've got multiple opportunities to put a game away and you can't close it out, that's on you. But that's only one part of the story. The other part is staring right at the quarterback position. And here's the tricky balance. Kyle Shanahan actually called a solid game from the sidelines. He pulled plays out of the bag, got creative with schemes, and dialed up looks that should have worked. Guys were open. The issue was execution. Too many drops, too many wasted chances. Shanahan doesn't deserve to wear the blame for that one. Instead, the microscope goes to Brock Purdy, who clearly wasn't himself. Now, to be fair, he's dealing with an injury in a short week, and he admitted he couldn't have played if the game had been that night. That doesn't mean he won't fight to be on the field come Thursday, but it does raise the question, what happens if he can't go? That's where the conversation shifts to Mac Jones. If Brock isn't healthy enough, you're looking at Mac running the show against a Rams defense that might not be elite, but still has enough bite to cause trouble. The question becomes how you adapt your offense when your quarterback doesn't have the same mobility Brock brings to the table. If it were me, I'd strip it back. I'd love to see this offense lean into more quick, short yardage passes. Dink and dunk, force the defense to cheat up, and then hit them when the opportunity's right. It's not about eliminating deep shots altogether, but you can't keep leaning on risky throws when your wide receivers are depleted. Short screens, perimeter throws, checkdowns, those should be emphasized a lot more. And yes, I get it. You don't have Deebo Samuel out there, and he was your screenplay king. George Kittle can still serve that role in spots. And of course, Christian McCaffrey has already been in those situations. But why not get creative? Put a guy like Isaac Guerendo in the mix, someone with track star speed and size. Give him a chance to break one if the block's set up. Sometimes you just need to catch the defense off guard and manufacture momentum. And beyond that, run the ball. Pound the rock. Even if it costs you a drive here or there, stick with it. That has always been the heartbeat of Shanahan's system, and straying too far away from it hurts this team. Christian McCaffrey should obviously get his touches, but Brian Robinson deserves more snaps as well. It's not about doubting CMC. It's about keeping the offense balanced and putting pressure on the Rams' young defensive front. When San Francisco commits to the run, it sets up everything else. Play action becomes dangerous, defenses get worn down, and those short yardage throws become easier to execute. What I don't want to see is a barrage of deep balls to guys who simply aren't built to handle that right now. Risking it all on low percentage shots downfield feels like a recipe for turnovers, and turnovers have already been a glaring issue this season. Protecting the football has to be priority number one. You look back at Mac Jones' games. Sure, he had one outing with no interceptions, but even then he coughed it up on a fumble. Ball security has to improve. Period. Now, injuries obviously complicate things. Brock Purdy, Ricky Parrall, Jawan Jennings. Question marks all over the place. That means Shanahan has to tailor his plan not only to whoever is under center, but to a receiving group that is razor thin right now. That's why John Lynch's comments earlier this week stood out. He acknowledged that they'll take every precaution with Brock, and Purdy himself said he couldn't play if the game were that night, but he's holding out hope. You want to believe he'll suit up, but even if he does, you can't expect him at 100%. And with a mini-bye coming up after Thursday, there's a very real possibility the staff decides to play it safe. That leaves Mac Jones as the likely starter, and while Lynch praised his preparation and work ethic, the truth is you're putting a lot on his shoulders against a divisional rival. That's not an easy spot to be in. Defensively, things aren't any clearer. John Lynch came out and said flat, you have to hit the quarterback in this league. And last game, they didn't do it. 0 sacks, no real quarterback hits, and very little pressure overall. That's not San Francisco football. That's not how this defense is built. When your defensive front disappears like that, the entire identity of the unit crumbles. Fred Warner once again looked like a man playing on another level, making plays all over the field, but he can't carry the pass rush on his own. When he stripped the ball loose in the middle of the field, it was just sitting there, and the shocking part was seeing offensive linemen get to it before the defensive linemen even reacted. That's not effort you can accept. That's not championship-caliber intensity. Brian Baldinger didn't hold back in his assessment either, saying flat out that he saw nothing from the defensive line. No impact. No fire. And he's right. If that doesn't change, Matthew Stafford will carve them up. Now, it's not like the Rams are unstoppable, but Stafford is a veteran. He's seen everything. He's faced blitzes from every angle, and he has the weapons to punish defenses if they get too aggressive. Guys like Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell are legit threats. And with Devontae Adams now in the mix, the Rams' passing attack can punish mistakes in a heartbeat. That's why this is such a tough call for Robert Saleh. Do you dial up heavy blitzes and risk Stafford burning you? Or do you sit back, knowing your front hasn't been able to generate pressure without help? That's the dilemma. And with injuries on the defensive line, Mikey Williams, Yetur Gross-Matos, Ronaldo Green, it's not like you have a full-strength unit to rely on. Some of those guys were limited in practice, which is at least a hopeful sign, but on a short week, it's hard to count on them being at 100%. So here's where it all lands. The Niners are facing a defining moment, and they have to make changes fast. Offensively, it's about protecting the ball, sticking to the run, and finding ways to move the chains without risking unnecessary turnovers. Defensively, it's about rediscovering that relentless identity, finding a way to put Stafford under duress, even if it means taking some uncomfortable risks. When you think about where this team stands right now, the conversation keeps circling back to Brock Purdy. Some fans are quick to defend him, pointing out his toughness, his leadership, and the flashes where he looks like a franchise guy. Others are tired of the mistakes, the turnovers, and the inconsistency that shows up when the supporting cast isn't at full strength. The truth, as always, lives somewhere in the middle. Purdy is not the unstoppable superstar some people hype him up to be, but he's also not the weak link that critics want to paint. He's a good quarterback who thrives when the system around him is clicking, and right now, that system is stretched thin. You can't deny that the receiving group looks bare bones. When your wideouts are limited, when guys who should be reliable drop catchable balls, you're forcing your quarterback into riskier throws, and that's when turnovers creep in. That interception targeting Christian McCaffrey said it all. He's a great running back, one of the best pass-catching backs in the game, but asking him to win jump ball situations is unfair. That's desperation football, not calculated execution. And that's where Brian Baldinger's comments ring true. He basically said the obvious. The talent around Purdy isn't where it needs to be. And that stings because the Niners built their identity on surrounding their quarterback with weapons. Right now, those weapons are banged up, inconsistent, or simply not good enough. It puts Purdy in a lose-lose situation where he either forces a risky pass and takes the heat for the turnover, or he plays conservative and the offense stalls. That balance is brutal, and unless the front office addresses the depth at wide receiver, you're going to keep seeing these issues. It's not about blaming one player. It's about recognizing the reality of where this roster stands. John Lynch even acknowledged that when he spoke earlier in the week. He's not hiding from it, and that matters. He's talking openly about injuries, about the limitations, and about how the team has to take every precaution with Purdy. He knows the fan base is anxious, but he also knows the bigger picture. It's still early in the season, and while every game matters, risking a quarterback's long-term health on a short week against a divisional opponent could be disastrous. That's why he kept praising Mac Jones' preparation. Because whether fans like it or not, there's a real possibility Mac has to take the reins Thursday night. And if he does, the coaching staff has to play to his strengths. He's not Purdy. He's not going to create plays with his legs. He's not going to extend drives with improvisation. But if you give him defined reads, keep the game plan structured, and let the run game do the heavy lifting, he can manage the game and give the team a shot. That's the reality. Defensively, though, is where the frustration really sits. The Niners are built on a defensive line that is supposed to wreck games. That has been their calling card for years. And last week, they were invisible. 0 sacks. No hits on the quarterback. Not even much of a push. It was almost shocking to watch. You're used to seeing that group dictate the tone, and instead it felt like Jacksonville's offensive line owned them. Fred Warner bailed them out multiple times, flying around like he always does, but one linebacker can't carry the whole defense. We forced that fumble, and the ball sat on the turf with nobody in red and gold diving for it. It was embarrassing. The effort wasn't there, and that's not just a one-play problem. That's a mentality issue. That's a wake-up call. Brian Baldinger said it best when he flat-out said he saw nothing from that defensive front. No impact. No disruption. That is unacceptable. This unit is too talented, too well-coached, and too expensive to vanish in a game that mattered. And now the challenge doesn't get any easier because here comes Matthew Stafford. This guy's seen it all. He's played against every type of blitz, every disguise, and he knows how to exploit mistakes. And he has weapons to make it hurt. Puka Nacua has already proven he's not just a one-hit wonder. Tutu Atwell brings speed that stretches the field. And with Devontae Adams now giving Stafford another reliable target, the Rams' passing attack looks dangerous. That means Robert Saleh has a tough decision to make. Does he gamble with heavy blitz packages, knowing Stafford can beat them? Or does he sit back in coverage, hoping the front four suddenly wakes up and finds its bite? Either way, it's risky, and that's the reality of this matchup. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has set the NFL rumor mill ablaze, whispers are spreading that Mike Evans has officially broken ties with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and is heading to bolster the San Francisco 49ers' already formidable offense. While neither team has confirmed the deal, insiders hint that discussions have been heating up behind the scenes for weeks, and sources close to the matter suggest the deal could be imminent. Evans, known for his uncanny ability to dominate downfield and his knack for clutch catches, has long been a cornerstone of Tampa Bay's passing game. Yet, murmurs within league circles suggest that friction with the Buccaneers' front office and evolving offensive schemes may have accelerated his exit. For the 49ers, whose offense thrives on dynamic passing options and deep threats, Evans' arrival could be a game-changer, giving quarterback Trey Lance, or whoever is under center, the kind of weapon that instantly shifts defensive strategies across the league. Fans on social media have already started speculating about how Evans' integration into San Francisco's playbook could unfold. Analysts whisper that pairing him with the 49ers' versatile receiving core and high-octane tight end rotation could create mismatches week after week. The 49ers, known for their aggressive moves in free agency and trade deadlines, appear poised to continue their pattern of making bold, headline-grabbing decisions that send shockwaves through the NFL. Some insiders are already predicting a seismic effect on the NFC West, with rival defenses scrambling to adjust to a team suddenly equipped with one of the league's most feared wideouts. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay fans are left in a mix of disbelief and speculation, debating whether the Buccaneers will pivot quickly to fill the void or double down on developing younger talent. Though the final paperwork has yet to be signed, the buzz surrounding Evans' rumored move has become impossible to ignore. If the whispers prove true, the NFL landscape could shift dramatically, with the 49ers emerging as an even more daunting offensive force. Until official confirmation drops, all eyes and ears will be tuned to the rumor mill, waiting for the next explosive update in this developing saga. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.